What's up guys, Kawasaki here, and I am back again with another video. This time it is discussing the 5-star Grand Prix coming up for Stardom. And if you don't know what the 5-star Grand Prix is, if you know New Japan Pro Wrestling and you know the G1 Climax, it is exactly the same thing, but it's just with the Stardom roster. They're divided into two blocks and they go into a round robin style tournament, so everyone will be facing off against each other at one point or another, and whoever accumulates the most amount of points throughout, I believe it's 2 months, advance to the finals of each side, or the blocks in a sense, and the winners of both blocks will be going up against each other, and that will determine the winner of the 5-star Grand Prix. If you don't know already, in the red block we have Siri, Tom Nakano, Utami Hayashi Shida, Azumi, Koguma, Maika, Himeka, Tekla, Sayaka Unagi, Saki Kashima, Mai Sakurai, and Prominence is Risa Sera, and Colors is Saki. Now in the blue block, we have Mayu Iwatani, Julia, Saya Kamitani, Starlight Kid, Momo Watanabe, Hazuki, Saya Ida, Natsupoi, Mina Shirakawa, Hanan, Mirai, Amisore, and Prominence's Suzu Suzuki. And for the schedule, it may look very mismatched. It took me almost like an hour and a half to decipher who's taking on who each day. So I'll give a little bit of a rundown on that. So for the matches, for day one, for the red block, is Azumi versus Siri, Himeka versus Utami Hayashi Shida, Risa Sera versus Maika, Saki versus Sayaka Unagi, Mai Sakurai versus Tekla, and in the blue block we have Julia versus Hazuki, Mirai versus Mayu Iwatani, Suzu Suzuki versus Starlight Kid, Amisore versus Saya Ida. And for the second day, it will be Siri versus Utami Hayashi Shida, Tom Nakano versus Himeka, Koguma versus Tekla, and Saki versus Risa Sera from the red block. From the blue block, we have Julia versus Mirai, Mina Shirakawa versus Momo Watanabe, Starlight Kid versus Saya Kamitani, and Ami Sarai versus Suzu Suzuki. If you want to see the rest of the matches, there's a link to my server. I mean, I did decipher all of this. It took me an hour and a half. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. But you can pause, screenshot this. Otherwise, if you are in my little Discord server, links in the description down below. I have it in the Stardom announcements where I have everything all sorted out. But I will say for the last night, which will be October 1st, we have Risa Sera versus Siri, Saki versus Tom Nakano, Utami Hayashi Shida versus Koguma, Saki Kashima versus Azumi, Maika versus Himeka, and Tekla versus Sayaka Unagi in the red block. For the blue block, it will be Mayu Iwatani versus Starlight Kid, Suzu Suzuki versus Julia, Amisore versus Saya Kamitani, Hazuki versus Momo Watanabe, Mirai versus Saya Ida, and Natsupoi versus Mina Shirakawa. Now, if I can remember last year's, it was Siri and Momo Watanabe that made it to the finals, and they were the winners of each respective block. And typically the winner gets a shot at the title of their choice. Usually it's at the end of the year, at the year-end show. I believe it's like year-end climax. Last year, Siri challenged Utami for the World of Stardom belt and successfully won her match and the title. Predictions, honestly, this is really tough because I didn't expect Siri to make it. I mean, I don't remember last year's blocks, but I think Siri was one of them, and then I think it was like, no, Utami's blue block. I think it was like oh no, Siri was blue block last year. I don't remember, but I kind of wanted Starlight Kid to make it to the finals, but she lost in the final round against Mayu, and she only needed to win her match against Mayu to make it to going up against, I think it was either Momo or Siri, I don't remember. But if I had to make at least like a top 3 or like a top 4 for each block, this is no particular order because this is honestly too hard to call. I will say Utami Hayashi Shida could win, Tom Nakano could win, Azumi could possibly win, and Maika could possibly win their blocks. And in the blue block, I could see Julia, Starlight Kid, Mayu Iwatani, and it's kind of a toss-up between Natsupoi and like Momo. Blue Box a little bit tougher for me in my honest opinion. Matches start July 30th, and I guess the ones to look out for would be Micah could upset. She upsetted Utami last year, so Micah could upset, Koguma could upset, Azumi can definitely upset, and Risa could even upset. You've seen a little bit of Risa from the pay-per-views. They also announced a new show called Showcase. She will be competing, I believe, the 23rd. It's Risa Sera and Suzu Suzuki versus Julia and I think Mai Sakurai in a hardcore match. But ones to look out for would be Utami, Tom, Azumi, Micah, Risa Sera. Unagi could maybe upset. Saki Kashima could possibly upset. And on the blue side, Julia could have won last year, and I felt they were trying to go for that route, but Julia withdrew from the 5-star due to injuries, and she pretty much withdrew. So I could see Julia win this. Mayu could have won it last year, but she didn't. I'm not sure if Saya could win, because honestly, like, usually champions don't win tournaments. So Saya, I mean, it could be a chance that Saya could win it. Starlight Kid almost won it last year. Momo was a runner-up. Natsupoi could upset, especially with what happened at the Midsummer Champions, which I will get to on my next video, which would be the Midsummer Champions in Nagoya, which got announced this morning. But getting back on track, Mayu, Julia, Sai Kamitani, Starlight Kid, Momo Watanabe, Hazuki is a sleeper. Natsupoi is definitely a sleeper. Even Suzu Suzuki is probably one of the darkest horses for this tournament. She has been impressing, and it's kind of blew my mind because I am not really too keen on her Ice Ribbon work just because I never really watched it up until her pretty much start in prominence, as well as the matches that she's had with Julia and Donna Del Mondo back at World Climax earlier in March. But that's kind of my thoughts and predictions for the 5-star Grand Prix. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments down below. I really love to hear like what you guys like say about what's going on in tournaments and such. So, if you liked the video, click on the like button. If you want to see more, click on the subscribe. If you want to watch this with us, there's a link to my server down below. If anything, we usually watch Stardom matches, TGPW, and pretty much whatever everyone else is interested in. So, hopefully I will catch you guys in the next video and or stream. Peace.